Okay, so today I'm going to work on making the two drawers that go in this storage cabinet that I'm building. My build is going a little slow, mainly because I can only work on it on the weekends when we don't have other plans. So now I'm working on these two drawers here. Basically, the drawers are four sides and a bottom. I'm actually going to make it a little bit different in that I'm going to do the four sides basically the same height, and the back and front the same width, and I'm also going to do a box joint on it. So this doesn't actually specify how to join the sides, so I am going to try and do box joints, which I've never built drawers before, so this is going to be a first. And I'm also going to put a front piece and then mount a piece on the front of that. So these drawers are actually inset, if you can see here. They inset into the cabinet itself, and they have drawer slides on them. So I've got the drawer slides. A little bit nervous about putting those on. I've again never built drawers before, so this will be a first. So let's get started. I'm going to start by cutting the 8 sides, 4 for each drawer. They're, according to the plan, 5.5 inches wide, or deep, if you will. The space is 6.5, I believe. Yes, 6.5. So that gives me an inch to basically, I guess, center the drawer. And if it's a little off, I'm not sure it's that big of a deal, because then we can move the fronts a little bit to make up for that. So I think this is going to be good. So I'm going to cut this at 5.5. Here we go. Well, after trying a number of things for these drawers I need to make for my cabinet, everything I tried failed. I tried making box joints on the router, and let me grab that. I have a pretty nice router table set up. It's pretty precise. It usually does a really good job, but this, I was trying to make box joints using this 1/2 inch Scandinavian style plywood. However, it's not as nice as the stuff I've used in the past. Anyway, no matter what I did, it was chipping out, even with backing and trying everything else. So then I thought, well, I'll try to use my table saw. Well, I ran into issues there. So then I thought, well, let me try a dovetail jig. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but it completely blew out parts of this. And I had wood, you can see here. It's just coming apart. So obviously this is not going to work for my side panels for my drawers. So I'm Okay, so now today I'm going to actually cut the dados for my drawers, and I've got 2 drawers in my storage cabinet. So I've already put my dado set in here. I've got it set up for 1/2 inch. It's maybe 1/100th, a couple of hundredths shy of 1/2 inch, a little narrower. And I've got my drawer pieces cut out here, my fronts and sides. Sides could have been a little longer. It's another thing on this design. I think they could have made these sides quite a bit longer. But anyway, so I'm going to cut the dados. I'm going to cut the front and back first. And the reason for that is once I cut the dado for the bottom, the front hardwood piece I'm going to put on the front will cover up the hole basically from the bottom dado. You'll see what I'm talking about when I cut that. So I've got this dado jig set up here. I'm going to cut the front and back first. So this was the first pin I cut on either side. So I'm going to actually pop this in. So to do the sides, you need to space them over 1 notch basically. I'm sorry, yes, the sides. So here's the first side piece, and I took the front piece. Actually, this is the back, but it doesn't matter. And I took the first notch, so the reference line I've now turned to face the new piece that I'm going to be cutting. And then here's the new piece, its reference line, same thing. Starts out, it's always pointing towards the notch. So what's going to happen here is this tooth, if you will, is not going to get cut. It's going to cut flush up against this, and it's going to cut out the end piece of this first board here. So just make sure. So there we go. Dado is going to be cut in the bottom, and since I'm cutting a 1/2 inch dado, I want to go probably 3/8. It's going to give me about 3/8 from the bottom to the edge of the blade. So that's a little bit more than 1/4. It's going to give me a nice place for the drawer bottom, and I'm just going to run these right on through. I'm going to turn dust collection back on. I'm going to test the first. That 3 clicks was perfect. It's in there, it's firm, so I'm just going to cut them all like that. Sides on here. This is the first one I made. It's interesting, I didn't adjust the dado width, but I had to take it off and put the other blade on to cut a replacement part. And this first drawer is so much tighter than the second one. And I'm with nothing changed, or at least nothing intentionally changed. So there you have it. So again, I'm using those same reference marks and I'm putting them up against the fence. And so I'm just going to cut these just like that. So let's do that real quick. So some of my measuring was probably a little off, well, not probably, was a little off. The experts at this tend to get these box joints to where they perfectly fit across the depth of the drawer. Mine's just a little bit off, and that's hence the little notch here. Well, I'm going to do some quick touch-up sanding on these drawers. I went ahead and trimmed the bottoms on the table saw off camera, so now I'm just going to touch up sand these a little bit, get them nice and smooth, and then start gluing the drawers together. So here we go. Okay, so this drawer has been gluing overnight, so I'm ready to take it apart, take a look, see how it did, and see what I could have done better, what I can do better next time, and so on. So let's get these clamps off of here. Okay, so have a little bit of glue seepage, not a lot, just a little, just in that one spot it looks like. This looks pretty good actually. A little bit of glue around this thing, but I'm going to sand these down. Glue. Looks like a nice tight fit. So I gave this quite a bit of thought, and basically my drawers that I built were about 1 inch wide, narrower than the cubby that they fit in, and 1 inch shorter than the cubby they fit in. So that meant I could do a 1/2 inch space all the way around the drawer. So I wanted to space the drawers that way. Well, so after testing a bunch of things, I came up with this using a paint stirrer from Home Depot as a spacer to get the inside cubby slide part mounted at the correct height. And you can see that I'm using it here. And I'm using a piece of 3/4 inch to space the slider back 3/4, since I'm going to face the front of the drawer with 3/4 inch, and it's an inset drawer. So basically I put the paint stir stick underneath the slider, screwed the slider in to the drawer, and if you notice, the part that into the cubby, the part that fits the drawer actually goes in the center of that, where it turns out that if I then take that center piece and mount it to the drawer flush with the bottom of the drawer, that will actually give me the 1/2 inch clearance I was looking for. And you notice this slider, the drawer part of the slider actually fits all the way forward, flush with the front of the drawer as it sits. And I'm using the top shelf of my storage cabinet, because it's flat, as a way to make sure that the drawer slide itself is flush with the bottom of the drawer. So I flush mounted it to the front because that way the stop is correct, and once I put the solid wood front on it, everything will be flush. So I did screw up on the second drawer, which I don't think I filmed, and I actually put these sliders on the front and back instead of the right and left side, so I had to take them off and remount them. But on this drawer I actually did it correctly. And the drawer dimensions, the way they have you build it, are very similar, so it's easy to make a mistake. So here you go. I'm going to mount the drawer for the first time, and it was perfect. It was almost exactly 1/2 inch all the way around. It stops where it needs to. There's the right amount of clearance for the front, and there you go. Okay, so I need a couple of handles, drawer pulls, and I think I'm just going to make them. Not sure what they're going to be. Probably just knobs that I can screw in. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, well, so I got this, both drawers in. Whoops. I've still got to mount the whole unit to its base.